So do you do any parkour? You do
I do. I love parkour. It's really fun. Good way to stay in shape too.
When did you start doing that?
I started doing it in February of last year. That was JJ, our stunt coordinator. Thank you. Sorry guys, forgive me. I'm gonna eat. This is great. This is perfect. Sorry. Kind of had carte blanche to send me to whatever trainers he wanted, and he sent me to Paul Darnell, who doubles Henry Cavill in Man of Steel at Tempest Free Running Academy out in Reseda. We just went to work. It's cool.
Tell us a little bit about your workout routine. I mean, you're in amazing shape, and the work you're apparently doing on screen.
It's been tough. Like it's been a process because I'd been a regular on Hung before, but that was 2.5 days a week of work. Maybe 3 every once in a while, and this is 6 days a week, and we've been going. When we wrap season 1, it'll be over 9 months, not including the pilot. So it's been trial and error a little bit of finding the time to work out. What kind of workouts am I going to do? And it's gone pretty well. But I just weights when I can. When I'm rehearsing for a stunt sequence, that helps because that's really busy. So
Now that almost everyone, it seems, knows that Oliver is Arrow.
Wait a second. 3 people know.
It felt like every week somebody else was not.
I'll give you that, because someone found out in episode 14 and then in episode 16. But only one person has found out by accident. I chose to tell Diggle. Because, like I said, I could have brought him anywhere, but I brought him to the Foundry. And I probably told Felicity a little bit before I wanted to tell her, but I was going to tell her. And as we learned, she may have known already. Telling Tommy was an accident and was necessary, and is not ending well, unfortunately.
So, how are your character trying to balance the whole family life versus? Because it felt like at a moment that Mom was going to find out, like he was going to have to tell her.
Right. So, I confront her at the end of episode 13, and then in episode 14, I basically say, until we find out what the undertaking is, she is off limits. We're about to find out what the undertaking is, and all the details surrounding it. And that is going to put those two on a collision course. But we are getting, the thing that I'm enjoying is we're really learning that Susanna was basically an innocent bystander in all of this, and we get to see her true nature. At the end of episode 18, where we see how affected she is by her involvement in the undertaking, and then we get to see her in the way back flashback that we have coming up as a doting mother, and as someone that puts up with Robert Queen, and just wants what's best for Oliver and Thea. And
she totally threw her friend out under the bus, though.
She did. We will learn a little bit more about that friend in a coming episode, and why maybe he deserved it.
What other hints are you allowed to say?
Well, we have the way back flashback. We're going to see Walter in the flashback, so we haven't forgotten about him. And let's see what else. We have a lot of returning villains. Like we have the Count coming back this week. Love working with Seth. That's pretty cool. Deadshot's on our radar again. And we're gonna get to see Island Oliver fire an arrow pretty soon. Maybe not at something, but we start to get the first images of him as something other than just goofy Island Oliver.
How familiar? Oh, sorry. How familiar were you with the DC character, the Green Arrow? And
Not familiar at all.
familiar? Okay. Since then, have you perhaps looked into the comic book and the whole mythology?
You know, I didn't before the pilot because the pilot was so all-encompassing, and I, had such faith in our executive producers and certainly the pilot director. But since then, I've read a bunch of stuff, and it was really cool to read, the Mike Grell Green Arrow stuff, and then see Shadow come into the show, and I've become fascinated by it, and I like our comics that we're producing, where we sort of fill in some of the backstory. I had a question from episode 21. There's sort of a mysterious character, and I emailed our exec producer, and I said, "Who is this person?" And he said, "Read the digital comic, you'll find out." So I like that. I like that we're filling in story gaps along the way.
Off the subject of Arrow, when are you releasing your wine line?
My buddy and I started. My buddy and I started a winery. It's called Knocking Point Wines. Knocking Point, where you knock an arrow on the bow. We had Jim Lee draw the label, which is pretty awesome.
Fantastic.
It's pretty badass, actually. You know what I mean? It's like I emailed him. I'm like, Jim, how do you feel about drawing a label? And he's like, cool, man. Can I get some wine? Yes, you can. So we're going to be releasing 110 cases, probably just on the West Coast, and I think late spring, early summer. No, it's Walla Walla, Washington. Yeah.
We are fortunately on the West Coast.
Alright, guys, this has to be the last question.
Yep.
Okay, this is just mind blowing, right?
Uh-huh.
Do we get to see all the workmen smile in season 2?
Yes, we do. We get to see him smile. He smiles a little bit. Coming up, when does he smile? We definitely get to see him smile a bunch in episode 21, and Laurel makes him smile too. And we see him smile a few times. That's for sure. I'll try to smile.
We want to see the mustache. That's what we want to see.
That's what you want to see. The goatee.